What's up, guys? Silver here with another Spartan Assault Achievement Guide. This time we're doing Switched On, which is complete Operation B. So Operation B has 5 missions in it, B1 through B5, so we're going to tackle those today. Some general tips if you're having trouble with any of the missions throughout the game is to put on some boosters or get better weapons to start the mission. And to do that, you want to select the mission you want to do, and then you'll come to this screen, the Armory. And as you can see, it shows your loadout where you're going to start the mission with. So you have your primary weapon, secondary weapon, armor ability, and booster. So you can see I clicked on my primary weapon, which was an assault rifle, but we could upgrade it to a sniper, a Spartan laser, or a rocket launcher. And the way you could do that is by using XP that you've gathered by playing the game just naturally over time. And you could select better weapons and boosters and everything before you start a mission if you're having trouble with a particular mission. So same thing with the secondary weapon. We could upgrade that to any of those weapons as well. And then you have your armor ability, which you could change. In the video here, it's showing Regen Field as the default armor ability, but that will change based on whatever mission you're playing. But we could actually change it to an Auto Sentry, Overshield, or Seeker Drone. And then also the booster, we could change to a Shield Booster, Damage Booster, or Score Booster. I would recommend a Damage Booster if you're having trouble. It makes your weapons more powerful, no matter what they are. So it's easier to just tear through the enemies, and that obviously makes it way less likely that they'll be able to kill you. And you can also see that my profile allows for one free use of some of these items because of the fact that I got certain achievements in Halo 4. But for someone that has never played Halo 4, that will not be available, unfortunately. So now that that's out of the way, a general tip for shooting is to just simply use both joysticks. One controls where you're moving, and you could still shoot with just that one joystick, but it is way less accurate than if you use both joysticks. The only downside is you actually move slower if you're using both joysticks, so just throwing that out there. I know some people have trouble with this game, but it's much easier if you're aware of that. So with that in mind, let's get into it. So here we go, mission B1. We basically need to just hold out this one position the entire time and protect the doors, the Covenant from breaking through the doors here. So there's a bunch of suicide grunts that come through this area, so we're just going to lay into them with the turret. We're going to blow up that Wraith Wreckage because that Wraith Wreckage kind of hinders our ability to shoot the enemies as they come upon us. So we just have a better line of sight without that Wraith Wreckage in the middle there. And we're basically just going to sit on this turret the entire mission here, just waiting for enemies to come our way. And the suicide grunts are fairly easy to deal with because they kind of just run in a straight line, and they don't shoot at you, so they're not really a danger to you until they get really close to you. But there are some elites that will drop down as well and drop pods, so watch out for them. There's one right there, so just be on the lookout for those, and then turn your attention to them because they can shoot you and throw grenades at you, so watch out for that. And you want to be aware of the fact that your gun could overheat. The turret could overheat in this, unfortunately, so you can't just hold down the trigger the whole time. The gauge for that is on the upper right side of the screen, and the health for the turret that you're on is on the upper middle part of the screen. So keep an eye on those two things. And other than that, this part is pretty easy. You can see that the Marine is on the turret to my left, and there's another Marine on foot over there who does a pretty good amount of damage as well. So we really want to focus on the middle and the right side of the screen, and if we need to, we could turn our attention to the left. But a lot of the time, the Marines will do a pretty good job themselves, so we're just kind of hanging out here, waiting for them to come into view. You could actually shoot them even if they're off screen. Even if you can't see them, you could still shoot in that general direction and hit them if you do have a line of sight to them. You could see them coming on the radar. You could see the red contacts in the upper part of the radar on the left side of the screen. There's a bunch of red dots coming at us. So you could try to shoot them before they even get within your actual vision. And there's a good chance you'll be able to do that. So that's another option you could take, but just the main thing you want to keep an eye on is that overheating gauge. You don't want to overheat and then you'll be vulnerable. So that one is a fairly easy mission. This one we're actually going to cheat a little bit. We are going to exchange our, armor ability for the sprint, and we're going to sprint through this first part. You're supposed to guard these Wolverines. There's a bunch of waves of enemies that are going to keep coming at you, and you got to kind of hold out again, and we're not going to do that. So we're just going to run past this whole area. And if you do that, people will stop spawning, and they will stop attacking those Wolverines, and basically you just won't have to do that entire first segment. We're going to run to that part, wait for those suicide grunts to blow up those crates so we can keep moving. These grunts we will take out. There's a handful of them. Watch out for the suicide grunts. Kill those guys from afar, or you will take some significant damage. And then we're going to grab some grenades. Keep grabbing grenades from the crates, as you can see I'm doing. And then we'll get to this final part, which we do have to hold out for this part. And there's a handful of strategies that you can employ with this final part here, but probably the most conservative, easiest way is to hang back here by the Wolverines that you're guarding. And you can see there's a bunch of Marines helping you out as well. And there will be a bunch of suicide grunts that come at you. Those are the majority of the enemies. So just like the last mission, we could kind of wait back here and wait for them to come within range where they're an easy shot. Then just one shot kill them with our Magnum. The one grunt that we killed will drop their grenades and blow up any of the other enemies that are in the area. So if they're spaced out in the right way and you time it right, you could kill multiple enemies with a single bullet. Another strategy that you could use that's slightly more risky is just off screen to the right, there is a turret, and you can jump on that if you would like. It is a little closer to the enemy spawn location, so you're more at risk of taking damage. You got your Marines backing you up back here. It's a nice little cozy spot. But if you do want to do that, if you do want to venture out, feel free to jump on that turret. And another even more aggressive strategy is you do have some fire bombs. You can see up on the screen I have 5 currently. So you could use those to basically spawn kill the enemies. So all these enemies are coming in from 2 shield doors to the upper right side of the screen, off screen. And what you could do is you could go up there and engage them with your guns, your Magnum and your SMGs or whatever other weapons you happen to pick up along the way. And obviously you want to keep your distance a little bit when you're spawn killing them because most of these guys are suicide grunts. So when they die, they drop their grenades and explode, so you don't want to take any of that damage. But what you could do is with these fire bombs, you could just throw them at the shield door. So when they step through the shield door, they just walk right into the fire and die. So right as they spawn in, they're just dead. And they're basically spawning in through 2 shield door locations. So you could just throw a firebomb at one, let that burn, and block off that section basically. So all the enemies that come through there will just die instantly. And then you could focus your gunfire on the other door. And then once that firebomb burns out, you can just throw another one on there and basically keep that barricade of fire up as long as possible. But anyway, those are the 3 main strategies I got for you, depending on how you're feeling. We used the more conservative version in this video where I just hung back by the Wolverines. And eventually the enemies will stop spawning in and coming at you. So you'll have to move up and kill off any of the stragglers in the area. And once the area is clear of all enemies, the mission will end. So on to the next one. So to start off this mission, we are going to go to the back of the Hornet and exchange our armor ability for the one behind it, which is active camouflage, because we're going to be super sneaky throughout this mission, or a lot of parts of it at least. We're going to go down to the left over here to start, and we are going to cloak ourselves right about here, and then we're going to run up and smack this elite 3 times, 1, 2, and 3 to take him out, and then we're just going to run away and totally ignore all of these other enemies in the area. All we have to do to complete this mission is eliminate all 6 elites, and then run back to the Hornet where we started. So I'm going to take out these suicide grunts. We don't need to be dealing with any of that nonsense. I like to take out the jackals by just smacking them, but we're going to cloak ourselves right about there and hijack this turret, and then we are going to take out all of the enemies in this area pretty quickly and easily with all this firepower we just acquired. And we're going to take out the elite, and we can move on to the next section. Again, all we have to do is take out the elites. Sometimes I take out more enemies than I need to, but all we need to focus on is the elites. But here we go. There's going to be a suicide grunt, probably. There's a handful of suicide grunts in this mission. I'm just waiting behind here because I could see that I shot that fusion core and it blew up. I was hoping it would take out the elite, but it looks like the elite sidestepped that. So he's going to charge us, actually, which is nice. So I just cloaked myself and beat the crap out of him. I was going to close the gap. If he didn't charge us, I would have just cloaked myself and ran at him. But he charged us, so that's fine with me. But we're going to go back to the beginning of the mission here. We took out the 3 elites on the left. Now we're going to take out the 3 elites on the right. We're going to start with these 2 jackals. We're just going to melee them to death. They don't really do anything when you're right up on top of them. You can see they just kind of stand there and take it. They can't melee you. They don't throw grenades or shoot when you're that close either. So they basically are sitting ducks. But then we're going to cloak ourselves and take this turret over and just take out all of the enemies in this area, including the 4th of 6 elites. Watch out for these suicide grunts. There'll be a handful in this area. So you want to make sure you take those guys out because obviously they could dish out a lot of damage with those plasma grenades. Trying to take out that jackal, failing. I'm not going to kill all of the enemies in this area, but if you want to be super conservative, super safe, make sure you don't die and have to do this whole thing over again, you should try to take out all of the enemies. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to push forward and be a little more risky. But again, if you want to be super safe about it, just engage the enemy, kill some of them, and then retreat, wait for your shield to go back up, and then you could come back and re-engage them. So don't feel like you have to take all of them out at once. Take out a handful, retreat, get your shields back, go do it again. So we can see the 5th elite is moving up to our position, so we're just going to cloak ourselves, smack him 3 times. If he takes some damage, it only takes 2 hits. So you can see our Marine shot him a little bit for us, so it made it a little bit easier for us. We're going to take out some of the minions of the elites, a.k.a. the jackals and the grunts in the area. You can see I'm kind of pushing forward a little aggressively here. I'm going to take a little more damage than I intend. I got stuck there when I had low shield, so I have no shield at this point, so this is pretty dangerous, but always feel free to run backwards to the safety of... I got stuck again, look at that. Pretty risky, not really being that safe about it, but we're going to get the job done. It's all right. So I'm going to cloak myself here, smack this final elite, and if I was going to be super safe about it, I would clear out those jackals in case I took more damage than intended and got stuck and died, and that would have been not great because we're at the end of the mission here. So after you kill the 6 elites, no matter what order you kill them in, all you have to do is run back to the Hornet, which is where you started the mission, that is where you'll end the mission. So I'll speed it up a little bit here. And mission accomplished. We are going to start off this mission by grabbing some grenades in the back crate there. Then we're going to move forward. We're going to use our Magnum to one-shot kill a bunch of grunts that are in the way. We could also decide to melee these guys because we run past a couple of them pretty closely right there. But we're going to run up the side of this bridge here that we're on. Take out a few more grunts as we pass by them. Exchange our armor ability for the stun blast there, which we're going to use in one spot. We're going to keep running up the side. The turret takes out that turret. Friendly fire going on there. We're going to move up to this Wraith, and we are going to throw a couple grenades at it and then shoot it a little bit to get the pilot to come out. And then we could use the stun blast armor ability to stun him and then just melee him a couple times to kill him. And then we'll cut back and we'll get in this fresh ride, this fresh Wraith here. The reason I didn't get in this Wraith right away is because I didn't want the enemy Wraith to damage it as I was getting in, so I took out that Wraith before hopping in this one. Took a little bit of damage from that off-screen turret that just shoots randomly at that bridge. But we're just going to mow down these guys here as we go up this path. Be careful you don't shoot a Wraith mortar and then move into it. You could actually shoot yourself with the Wraith mortar, so be aware of that. If you're going to shoot in front of you, be prepared to stop because you don't want that thing to land on yourself because that is another instance of friendly fire, one that we don't want. We want the enemies to shoot themselves, but we don't want to shoot ourselves. But we took out all the enemies on the left side, so now we're going to cut back and go up the right side. Clear out all these guys. You can see I stopped to pause there because I shot a Wraith mortar, and I definitely would have hit myself if I kept going. So, again, bad idea to shoot yourself. But we're going to shoot all these guys in this area. We should be able to take out all the enemies in the area of this mega turret up ahead of us here. Take out that shade turret, that tiny turret next to it. And we should be able to go on foot now with no enemies in the area. And we'll be able to plant the bomb on the mega turret. You got to do it on this one and the one on the left that we cleared out earlier. There is a shade turret hanging out in the middle here. Just go behind one of these Covenant barriers and throw a couple grenades over it so you can destroy him while being totally safe from his firepower. And then we'll move to the left and plant the bomb on this second of two mega turrets. And then once you plant that second bomb, we'll be able to cut back down. There should be no more enemies in this area, so you have a nice leisurely stroll to the final nav point to reach the Scorpions and end the mission. You can see nothing is in our way. Very nice, very relaxing little hike, and the mission is accomplished. So that's it for that one. On to the final one for Operation B. Hop in the Scorpion to start. We have to eliminate 7 Wraiths on this entire map. It's pretty big, but we're going to start by going to the right side and taking out all of the Wraiths towards the bottom of the map first. But like I mentioned, this is a very big map. It's basically a wide open map for vehicle combat. There's a ton of ghosts, a ton of Wraiths. There's a bunch of shade turrets. There's also a bunch of suicide grunts, which are a big issue that you want to watch out for. It's very easy to take a lot of damage quickly if you're kind of just barreling through with no plan. You want to stay to the outside of encounters. You don't want to go into the middle of a group of enemies because obviously then you're surrounded. You're taking fire from all sides. It's a lot harder to not take damage when they're all coming at you from every angle. So you want to stay to the outskirts of the map for the most part. When you do go towards the center of the map, you want to kind of zigzag your way up so you kind of clear out the area as you go. You can see that's kind of what we're doing here. You could also see I don't generally go down, straight down. I'm going straight down right now, but that's because I've already cleared out that section. Because there are suicide grunts, and they could close the gap very quickly on you. So if you ever go straight up or straight down on this map, there's less time for you to react to a suicide grunt running straight at you. And you will kill them, but they'll drop their grenades, and then you could just drive right over those grenades and take a lot of damage real quick. So you don't really want to drive straight up or straight down in this map, and you'll see me do a lot of zigzagging when I'm going up towards all the other enemies. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Obviously, since it's in widescreen, nowadays we have widescreen, and so there's more time to react to things coming from the left and right side than there is to react to things coming from the top or the bottom of the map. That's the main reason I drive either diagonally or to the left and right. Very rarely up and down unless I know I've already cleared out that section. I also mentioned earlier that it's tough if you take so much damage in your Scorpion that you can't really use it without risking it blowing up and killing you. That's not 100% true. There are some spare Scorpions lying around the map. There's one right here next to me at this point, so you could hop in that if this one that you're currently in is too damaged. Another option is you could actually hijack enemy vehicles if you need to. So you could hijack a Wraith or a Ghost and then use that newfound firepower to turn against the enemy. You can see I'm getting a little sloppy here. I just ran over a suicide grunt, taking some damage. I have half health. Your bar of health is on the top center of the screen. You can see it's about half full at this point. Just cutting back to show you this Scorpion here. Just shot it a little bit. Not the best idea if I want to actually use it later. I just weakened it a little bit. Got stuck on that geometry, all according to plan. This is all exactly what I want to be doing. We're just going to work our way up. Again, we're not going to go straight up ever. We're just going to go diagonally up. We're going to keep firing our machine gun because basically there's no reason to not be firing that machine gun. I guess I'm going to take a break. There we go. We started it up again. And just keep firing. The machine gun only has so much range, but your main tank, whatever it is, your main gun on the tank, that could actually fire and shoot things that you can't even see. So you could actually just fire it in the direction of the contacts on your radar. You could see where all the wraiths are at all times on your radar. So you could actually just fire at it even if you can't even see it. And if there's nothing in the way, if there's no like barricade in the way or something, you could actually hit it. So you could employ that strategy, which you can see I'm kind of doing right now. I'm kind of shooting, and the machine gun only goes so far, but the main turret will go all the way until it hits something. And there is the final wraith. Going to take him out from afar. No need to get close to all his minions, all his suicide grunts and turrets and everything. And that is a wrap for this one, guys. So that's the final mission of Operation B. Thanks for watching, and be sure to stick around for Operation C. Thanks for watching, guys. If you found that video helpful, be sure to click on the scorpion icon to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. You can also check out some related guides by clicking on the videos on screen, and you can find links in the description for other social media links of mine. Stay tuned for more Halo guides, and I'll see you in the next one.